Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Nobodies.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Bryce and Annie, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. I think it will be. I think it'll be very want Annie and I have been texting about this all day, so we're very excited about this. But all right, first of all, just first and foremost, I just want you to know, pretend that we are idiots. And I'm speaking for myself. I do not speak for Annie ever. I know better.
He knows better.
But you don't have to pretend that much with me that I'm an idiot. So
well, you guys think we live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum in space where there's gas balls and rocky balls and we're flying in four directions at once, and that we came from a monkey? Maybe you are idiots.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before we start making fun of you, in your own words, please explain to us very basically what flat Earth research is. That's what it's called, right? Flat Earth research. It's not called anything else.
Sure.
Or is it?
Well, no, we research flat Earth. So most people, when they think of flat Earth, they think of a disc, a pancake floating in space, because that's what we've been programmed to believe. When in fact, that's not what the flat Earth is. The flat Earth is, think of what a puddle is. A puddle is where water accumulates at the low point in the land, right? You with me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the edge of that puddle is where the land is higher than that water. So
this is a groove.
Yeah. So we live. So a pond is a bigger puddle. A lake is a bigger pond, and think of the Earth as a giant pond. And the Earth we live in the land that surrounds it is Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth, and what it is we live in this giant pond.
Showing us visual aids, everyone who's listening to this, just so we know. For not making sense.
I'll be very descriptive. So
thank you.
We live in a giant pond with a bunch of islands that we call continents. The continents are all surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by land. That land is called Antarctica. Antarctica is bigger than all of the oceans and all of the continents combined, right? We're told that it's a little continent on the bottom of a spinning ball flying through space, when in fact, it is the container of our water, right? Large bodies of water at rest need a container. Okay. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, and we can prove measurably, testably, scientifically that the water is flat and there is no curvature over any amount of distance. That doesn't make sense on a ball. So Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. They don't tell us that in school. We live in the Antarctic basin. And so the question is, what's beyond, if you go way out in Antarctica, out is south. And what's out there? We don't know, because it's completely off limits to everybody until the year 2041.
2041.
Yeah, and why is that? Why is 2041?
Because in 1959, when they came up with the Antarctic Treaty, that's basically when they, officially hijacked the world from us. They don't want anyone going out there because if you go out there, you will find out the truth that we don't live on a spinning ball. There's many unanswered questions. There's so much we don't know. But what we know for sure, scientifically provably, testably, is the Earth is not a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Water needs a container. We can see too far. We have measurements with laser beams, with mirror flashes, with microwaves, visual zoom cameras, where we can zoom in on things that should be hundreds of feet, if not miles below curvature, behind a physical curve, but we can see them.
You're talking about geometry, I guess, like in terms of the physical curvature or physics, I guess.
Yeah. So if my microphone was the Earth and this is a boat and I'm going over the curve, it disappears just like they tell us as we go over the curve, right?
Okay.
But we can look out and say, okay, that we can see a building just 10 miles away. We can see something. 10 miles away doesn't seem that fast, but 10 miles away is 66 feet of curvature. It should be 66 feet over the curve, depending on the viewer height. Of course, you have to subtract that out of it. So using their math and everything, we can see too far, period. There's no curvature. There's never been seen.
So when we're staring at, so we live in Los Angeles. Annie and I live in Los Angeles. If we go to the Santa Monica Pier and we stare out at the ocean, we are seeing too far for the curve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so it depends on the weather.
The world would be curved if we could see a curve.
So here's the thing: if you can't see something, it doesn't mean that it's because of curvature. It means because you can't see it because weather conditions. I live in Connecticut on Long Island Sound, and 25 miles away, I can see New York City skyline beautifully. I can see the Whitestone Bridge. I can see the whole thing.
Place.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't see New York City. It's still kind of a clear day, but the city's gone. That's just because the air is dense enough where I just can't see it. Okay. But standing at sitting at the water's edge where I'm just a couple feet over the water, the Whitestone Bridge is 25 miles away. There should be like 460 feet of curvature or something like that. Let me do the math so the people don't yell at me if I'm wrong.
You're basing this off of this is scientific. I mean, you're saying that this is scientifically proven that we should be able to see a curve if the Earth.
Well, not necessarily see the curve. Things should go behind the physical curve. So
like you're saying with the microphone, it's coming like you should be able to see something. Okay.
Like if you watched, if you had a little toy boat on a basketball and you pushed it over, it would disappear from the bottom up as it goes over the ball, just like they tell us, right? Because one thing happens doesn't mean there isn't another reason. Like you can't see my house right now for a whole bunch of reasons. One, it's dark. 2, it'd be too small. 3, you don't know where I live. 4, the weather is not going to permit it. 5, you think you could assume curvature. There's a million reasons you can't see it. But when I look out at the Whitestone Bridge, the top of that bridge, I think, is 260 feet, the top of the stanchions. Well, there should be 400 feet plus of curvature in my way. It should be 400 feet below. Right. But not only can I see the top of the bridge, I can see the bridge, the feet below the bridge. I can see the footings below the bridge. Our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. We can see too far. Right. But when you see a boat go out into the distance, it kind of disappears from the bottom up. It looks like it's disappearing. And that has to do with the way our eyes work. You can watch a ship go away. It'll disappear from the bottom up. It'll completely be gone. The horizon will be empty on a calm, clear day. Then you get a super zoom camera and zoom in on it, and there's the entire ship again.
Or like binoculars. Or
good binoculars, right? Good binoculars would do it. So we can see things too far. We've been brainwashed into believing, what Bill Nye, the line guy with the bow tie, says, that ships go over the horizon because we live on a ball. Well, if we lived on a ball, yes, it would go over the horizon, but it doesn't have it. We can zoom back in. That proves that it's not a physical thing that we're seeing.
Can I ask what the purpose of lying about something like that would be? What's the point?
That is the most intelligent question that everybody asks. Well, at least intelligent people ask. So
thank
you. Told you, Annie's not stupid. I mean, jury's out on me.
So why the lie? The reason why the lie is let me ask this is a personal question. Do you guys believe in God?
Yes.
A creator. So yes. Maybe you're not so religious, but you believe there's a God that
yes.
So we're created. We didn't come from monkeys. Do you believe that?
Right.
I believe that, well, speaking for myself, I believe that there is a higher power that created this.
Okay.
They created everything in turn, and then we're kind of left to our own devices. That's sort of.
There you go. Absolutely. Yes. So we have God-given free will. We have God-given free will.
Yes.
So I believe, this is my belief, that we are our souls are eternal, and we are having a soul's experience here on earth. And the way I describe a soul, what's a soul? I say a soul is a piece of God. So we have a piece of God in us. We're here having our human experience to expand the consciousness of God. Okay. Beautiful thing. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Right. So we'll back out. So why the lie? The heliocentric model has a spinning, orbiting.
Stop right there. Hang on. What is the heliocentric model?
The heliocentric model is the globe model, the globe, the solar system,
right.
the solar.
The big lie that
words have meanings. Words have meanings. The soul lure system. Our goal here on Earth, having this godly experience, is to maintain control of our souls and not sell it or lose control of our soul. We're here trying to have this experience with our soul. So the heliocentric system, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. So the first thing is, you guys like watching a sunset? You're on the West Coast. Sunsets are beautiful, right?
Sunset. God, they're great.
So if you believe you live on a ball, you believe that you're sitting on top of a ball, the sun is over there, and you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, because that's how fast the Earth is spinning. It's spinning fast. So, and that makes the sun appear to go down because the sun stays where it is, and you're just rolling over backwards. Okay. That sounds a little crazy, right? But that's what you have to believe if you live on a heliocentric spinning ball. While that's going on, you're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour.
That's a weird number.
Yeah, weird number, right? And the Earth is tilted 30. What's the number? It's tilted 34.4 degrees, whatever. But the inverse of that is 66.6. Okay.
Okay, that's
so weird again.
Don't like it.
While we're orbiting at the speed and spinning, we're also chasing the sun because it's flying through the universe, through the solar system at 500,000 miles an hour. That you can't even fathom what that is. So we're spinning, orbiting, chasing the sun, and that entire system's going sideways at 1 or 2 million miles an hour. That's ridiculous. Okay, we have all these motions going on, but a calm lake lays flat like perfect glass. And we don't feel any motion. I mean, if there was a tiny little earthquake, you feel it. Your whole vestibular system freaks out. You're like, oh my God, the Earth shook a friggin' 0.5 millimeter. But all of these things are going on, and there's nothing. And science tells us that's because it's so big, you can't tell. You're already in motion. But all of these motions are curves. Curves are acceleration. When you're curving, if you're in a car going 100 miles an hour, and you have a dinner plate with a 1/2 inch of water on it, no problem. But if the car takes a little bit of a turn, whoosh, the water's gone. Right? It's right off the plate. Okay. Yeah. So we're on this flat, motionless plane. And so the heliocentric system, we're flying through space. We're insignificant. The beginning of the story is nothing exploded, created everything. And then lightning struck and created an amoeba that turned into a fish that grew legs, that found another fish that grew legs, that had a monkey and had a disabled baby that was a human. Okay. This is complete and utter nonsense. Our ancestors were humans. Monkeys' ancestors were monkeys. Fish's ancestors were fish. I mean, that's it. No, there's never any history of any animal turning into another animal other than, you can breed a lion with a tiger or something like that. So that is so you're flying through the system. Asteroid could take us out. We're living in fear. Asteroid could take us out at any moment. We're running out of food. We're running out of dinosaur juice for our cars. We're in this godless or distant God universe, flying out of control. So it kind of makes people more nihilistic, a little more selfish because they're afraid. There's so much fear in the world. So we end up giving our authority away. Nobody has dominion over us. But the truth of the story is we are at the center of creation. And they've taught us that's insane to believe we're at the center of creation because the universe is so big. And that's very egotistical of humans to think that they are the center of the entire universe. Well, there isn't an entire universe. There's just the Earth system. Everything we see is
more narcissistic than we already are.
Well, it's not even that. We live in the Earth system, not the soul lure system, right? So we're the center of creation, and this place was created for us. It's intelligently designed. Whoever God is, that's your own journey. You can figure that out on your own. But we're at the center of the system. Nobody has dominion over us. Our thoughts create our reality. They don't want us to know that. They've divided us. The whole world was united in a world empire called Tartaria not that long ago. And there's still evidence. It was like 150 years ago, maybe. Okay. And I'll show you where you can find more information on that. That'll blow your mind. And it's right in front of you. It's everywhere. There's buildings that are still up in every city, Tartarian buildings. Okay. but there was some cataclysm that happened in the late 1800s that changed everything, and then some jackasses hijacked our world. So whoever they are, that's a whole nother story. But we have free will. Nobody can take it from us. Our thoughts create our reality, and they've divided us by countries, and then by, divide up the country, and then divide us by political parties, by sexes, by races, by sports teams. Now they've got us, separating our families. You can't touch anybody. You can't look at anybody. They're literally taking humanity away from us. This is why I quit my own company, had a very successful company with a couple partners. I walked away from it all. I'm doing this full time because if we ever get our freedom back, how long can we keep it if we're spinning out of control with our mind in a prison, which we call a globe?
So you're saying that going back to Annie's question, like the big lie is just that we don't know. It's just unknown. So they don't want anyone to try.
It's a control thing, is what you're saying.
It's total control. Okay. If you know that you are the center of creation, that nobody can rule over you. We have no rulers. The power that all of the governors and presidents and all of the world leaders, all of the elite, the power that they have over us is in our minds. It's just in our minds. If everybody woke up tomorrow and realized that, they'd have no power. They could do nothing. They could write tickets all day, and you're like, beautiful, write me a ticket. Doesn't matter. It's all in our minds. It's all fake. It's all about control. They want you to believe that, you have to work until May every year and give all that money to the government. We're still working for the government, if you believe in their nonsense rules. And you think that, well, I have to survive in this world. I need money. I need this. I need that. It's all a belief system. As soon as people let it go, the whole world changes.
Okay, I certainly do, Annie. I don't know about you. I certainly have a much better understanding of where the crux of where the theory comes from. Like, I didn't really realize that it was something that was such a control issue. I thought they were. I didn't know what the reasoning was. But I do, regardless of if you believe this research or not, this is considered a conspiracy theory. Are those bad words to you? Like, what do you think when you hear people call this a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, so people use the word conspiracy theory. That's a weaponized term that, the CIA weaponized it with the JFK thing. It's a conspiracy. You guys are in a conspiracy. That your conspiracy is to put together a podcast and find guests. You're conspiring to have these guests. When in fact that there's conspiracies all the time, and this is literally about control. So let me show you guys a couple of proofs. So think of a globe. Do either one of you have a globe in your house? Nobody has globes anymore. You do?
I do.
Is it a regular size globe, like a basketball size globe?
Let me get
it. Can you go get it? Okay.
I don't have a globe. I have nothing in my apartment.
So hold on. I'm going to watch this. There's a sticker on the bottom of her globe that says, not to be used for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only. Okay?
What?
Watch. Yeah.
Annie,
now turn your globe over and read the sticker that's on the bottom of it. Under the base. Unless you peeled it off.
It just says made in Taiwan.
There's not another sticker there?
There's a little... there's that thing. It doesn't say anything though.
All right. So normally it's on there. It comes when you buy the globe. It's on there. Anytime you see a globe in a store, look on the bottom. The sticker says not for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only, because it's nothing like what our world is. Remember Antarctica?
Weird.
Yeah. So it didn't work. The last time the one person that had a globe, they did it, and there was a sticker, and I was really thrilled. So it backfired. It backfired on me.
That's all right.
But next time you see a globe in a store, like if you're at Home Goods or wherever you go, see a globe in someone's house, to grab it, look at it, flip it over, and 99 out of 100 times, of course, this was that one time. It's not there.
Well, I got it at Home Goods, so I think they probably figured.
No, they all have it there. They all have it there.
That's wild.
So on the globe, on the bottom, you have Santiago, Chile, which is way down near the bottom, and you have Australia on the other side, right down near the bottom. So the shortest trip from Santiago to Australia would be right across Antarctica, a little whoop, and you're right there. And if you don't want to fly over Antarctica, you could just go around a little bottom, just around Antarctica a little bit. And that's the shortest trip. This is how planes go when they fly to Australia from Santiago. They go all the way up across the equator to the north, across America, and then all the way back down. All right. You think that's crazy? Here's Western Australia. If they want to go from Santiago to Western Australia, they go all the way up here. They go all the way over to the UK and Dubai, and then they go all the way down. All right. And they call that the Great Circle Route. Well, know what that is? It's the Great Straight Line Route, because here it is on a flat Earth. Watch that to the west side of Australia. We go up across America, Europe, Dubai, Western Australia, a straight line. Airplanes fly straight. Yeah, they fly straight and level over an Earth plane. All of the FAA manuals say treat the Earth as a flat, non-rotating plane. Why would they say that if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? And remember all those speeds that, we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at ridiculous speeds. We're chasing the sun. We're moving millions and millions of miles a year. Are you guys familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
No.
You're not into conspiracies. You don't know about the Georgia Guidestones. So Georgia Guides, it's okay. It's all right. Georgia Guidestones are a pyramid, not a pyramid. They're like a Stonehenge. This is a close up of one of the stones. They're like a Stonehenge, these giant stones. And in 10 or 12 different languages, there's 10 commandments on them by the New World Order. It was erected in early 1981, I think. And nobody knows who did it. It's a highly protected place. It's cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for this thing. And one of the top things on there is it never let the world population grow over 500 million again. Right? And it's on a high hill in Georgia, which is that's a whole nother thing. That's not why I'm bringing it up.
So wait, Center Stone, Georgia the state, not the country.
Georgia the state, okay. United States, South Carolina, Georgia area.
Okay.
There's a thin straw like hole, like a half-inch hole drilled through one of these rocks, and when you look through it, the North Star is right through there, right in the center. It's there. It's been there for 40 years. It's not moving anywhere. Right? We're spinning, twirling, and whirling. Forget the 500,000 miles an hour. Forget the sideways motion that we're going. Forget the spinning every day. 6 months from now, we're 183 million miles on the other side of the sun. How the heck could that star stay through that hole perfectly?
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
It's almost you'd almost have to imagine that all of the stars are fixed in their position, spinning above us around a center access point, and that's the point of rotation. Here's a time lapse of the stars going around. And it's always right there. It's never moved. This absolutely 100% proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Earth isn't moving.
Okay.
Andy's got that, holy crap, how do I tell my friends that I'm a flat earther? Look.
Now I'm trying to wrap my head around. I have so many questions flying through my brain.
Yes.
About
so
all
so here, I'm going to tell you, I have another show at the top of the hour. We're going to have part 2 on this. Okay. When we're done, you tell me if you want to do part 2. So this way we don't have to rush through everything.
Okay.
You hit me with a question and I'm going to answer it.
Okay. So like there's this idea that our universe is infinite, right?
Yeah,
if you're looking at it from what I believe. Our universe,
a global point of view.
Yeah, from a global point of view, that the universe is infinite.
Yeah.
So from your point of view, I know you may not know what's over the ice wall or whatever for Antarctica, but like how far does it go? Like, do you have any theories on like
it's infinite? There you go. We're even.
It is. So it just keeps going.
I don't know. It could be. Some people say that's good. It's a good question. I'm making fun.
No, that's
some people think it's an infinite plane. Some people think we're enclosed in a dome and it's all there is. Some people think that there's multiple domes over domes like Russian dolls, and that there's other worlds beyond us. So we live here in this circle, and then there's another sun out here, right? That sun might be called Mars, and its moon might be called Venus, okay? Because Venus has phases And we can make a little model where we have a sun outside of our dome. And if you look in our dome, if you do it with a piece of glass, you can see Mars, the sun that's out there. It looks like a little sun inside of ours, like a planet. So you know what this is? This is extra land, more land, right? What's another word for land? Territory, terra. Extraterrestrials could come from the outer space across the Earth plane. So when NASA says they want to go to outer space to Mars, maybe that's where they're trying to go, to the outer space, to the Mars system.
I have a question. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just going to say, so that was going to be one of my questions too. None of my questions are related or in a string. They're just like all over the place.
Rapid.
No boy.
I'll say hypothetically.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I saw the
lander.
Replay.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it. If I had my Zoom, it's unbelievable how bad it is. South Park rejected. You're talking about the landing on Mars, or am I wrong?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm talking about.
The Mars lander. There's so many things wrong with it, but they showed this crappy South Park quality animation. It was the worst thing ever. And all of these people, they're waiting, and then all of a sudden it touched down. This literally like Cartman touched down on this friggin' cartoon, and everyone's jumping, high-fiving. It's unbelievable. Let me ask you a question. What if it's obviously that it's not video footage, because it's like being filmed from a third position, unless they send a camera crew there ahead of time. If it crashed, if the data said it crashed, did they have an animation showing it crashing? I mean, it's unbelievable, the brainwashing. And they brought televisions into most schoolrooms, most public schools that were in session, or even the ones that are doing it remotely. These kids were forced to watch this and believe it, because you have to grab their imaginations when they're young. So little kids are seeing this and thinking it's real because it's coming from authoritative people.
Well,
it's child abuse.
I will say that I do not believe that we landed on the moon in 1969, but it's nothing to do. I think that it was just a space race type thing, and they needed to, the U.S. needed to like bulk up their needed to be dominant. Yeah. But it's not. I still believe that the Earth is a globe, but I mean, go ahead, keep going, because I know where you're going with the Mars thing. This is really interesting.
Yeah, so this is Mars from NASA's website, and we can tell it's from the rover because it got a little bit of a selfie of itself. You know, that's how they always do it. They stick something in the corner. And this is from Greenland. It's the same friggin' picture. This one's just got a sepia tone, and the sky's blotted out. All right? I was on a show earlier today. They're like, how do you know that somebody didn't change this into this? Right? That's ridiculous. Right?
And especially
NASA. Go ahead.
No, I just said especially with Photoshop and InDesign.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it, but NASA fakes everything. Here's the United States on the blue marble that was on everyone's iPhone, and here's the United States on another shot they did. It's twice the size.
Weird. That is so weird. I just thought about how it's on every person's cell phone. Yeah. That is like subliminal shit.
I got mind control. It's total. It's complete and total mind control. Right. And if you look at the other image, this is what we're seeing on this map that these are the sizes of the continents that they tell us. This is what we're seeing here. So you have to believe that all of this land outside of this circle is on the other side of this ball. That's ridiculous. That's insanity. You know, NASA does their training in a swimming pool for their spacewalks. You know, why is all the important equipment that breaks on the outside of the space shuttle? Why is it? Do submarines have their equipment on the outside of the submarine? I mean, it's all on the outside. They go out there for like 8 hours and they tighten one nut with a giant wrench, and then they come back in, and they do their training in a swimming pool. This is done in a swimming pool.
What is space then? I mean, is that just like?
Good question. It looks like space is water.
Okay. So space this is a reflection?
So I believe that we live in this high pressure system, and the creator separated the waters from those waters. There's water below us and there's water above us, and we live in this high pressure system. And when we have extremely low pressure, we have tons of water falling out of the sky. Like a hurricane is a low pressure, super low pressure system, and it lets the waters from above in. Like, you ever been in a hurricane?
No.
The amount of water that comes out of the sky is unbelievable. It's a rivers of water coming out of the sky. Where's that water before it comes down? Is it floating in the sky? Trillions of pounds of water is floating in clouds. Like, if that was true, if a plane tried to fly through a cloud, it would crash into water, but it doesn't. It flies right through a cloud. Like, it's not even there. Yeah.
Do you think
all of this stuff?
Okay.
Go ahead, Annie.
No, go ahead. I'm like reverting back to 4th grade science with like condensation and gas versus liquid and all of those things. So that's where my mind's going.
That's what I was.
They teach us that our the water on the earth is evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, and that's how the water cycle goes. That's not primary water. That's secondary water. Primary water is below us. In California, you're not allowed to dig a well deeper than 300 feet. You know why? Because you'll hit primary water, and then they'll lose control of you and your water. They control us with water, food, money, fuel, and other things. But there's infinite amount of water. Muammar Gaddafi discovered an ocean of water. He found primary water when looking for oil, and he built the Great Man-Made River. Never heard of it, right? He built for 40 years the largest aqueduct project in the history of the world. He was putting these giant buried pipes through the deserts all across Africa, and then giving any family that wanted to open a farm, an organic farm, he gave them land, tractors, seeds, cattle, and access to water. And these farms were popping up all over Africa. He was going to feed all of Africa. When he was done, after 40 years, the UN went in and blew it up with depleted uranium bombs, right? Didn't hear about that in school or on the news, right? Great Man-Made River. You can find that on my YouTube channel. Just search Great Man-Made River, DITRH. That's my YouTube channel. The initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Let me show you how seasons work. All right. Seasons is always one.
I did want to ask you about seasons. And while you're getting that queued up, I do want to also, we talk about Mercury being in retrograde all the time on our podcast. I want to know what your thoughts are on that too.
So let's talk about astrology. Mercury's in retrograde, and where all these planets are, they affect how we are. How could the position of Jupiter or Saturn affect my life when it's 25 million, 40 million miles away? Its gravity can't even affect our tides or our moon or anything else. How is that going to affect my life whatsoever, right? And I used to laugh at astrology. I'm like, oh, it's fun. Horoscopes, it's fun. It's just nonsense, right? But yeah, it's entertaining, but in reality, it's the real science. Astronomy is pseudoscience. It's all unprovable nonsense. So in the Earth system, all of the lights that we see in the sky, and I call them lights because there's really nothing that we can say definitively about any star, any planet, any moon, sun, or anything else we see in the sky other than airplanes, that what they are. We don't know how big they are. We don't know how far they are. We don't know what they are, but we know their movements. We know they have some effect on people. All of the stars are within the Earth system. All of the planets, which used to be called wandering stars, are within the Earth system. They're close, they're small, they're energetic, they're sentient. All of the wandering stars are named after gods. Mars, Saturn, Venus, Mercury, they're all named after gods, okay? It's part of the system. I believe, and the sun and the moon, I don't think the sun and the moon that we see, I don't think they're physical. I think the sun is the light of the creator, and the moon has something to do with the transferring of souls. The moon affects women's reproductive cycles. I think it has something to do with the transferring of souls in and out of this realm. But again, that's me, crazy flat earth Dave, saying that.
Okay, we'll go into seasons now.
Yeah, let's talk about seasons.
Yeah, so we're taught that, here's the the earth is a ball, the north is on the top, the south is on the bottom, and the sun rays are all coming in parallel because the sun's so far away. Another assumption, but if you ever look at any of the any pictures of sunlight coming through clouds, those rays are anything but parallel. I can't pull up a picture, but so we're gonna just wing it. So we're taught when we're tilted towards the sun, we have direct rays. So if you had just like on a ball, you had an inch circle light, shining on a ball, and it's that light is lining up 1 inch. But if you tilt the ball away, that light will spread over 3 or 4 inches, right? And so we're tilted away. That's why we have our winter. This is the heliocentric explanation. It's the tilt. Okay.
Right.
That is 100% provably false, because in here in Connecticut, we have cold winter and a hot summer. And in the summer, June 21st, the summer solstice, I can go to the beach, and as soon as the sun appears on the horizon, bam, as soon as it shows up, I can feel the heat on my face. And within a couple of minutes, I can really feel the heat, on my face. I'm ready. It's like nice, right? Hot, a nice hot sun. So that is not a 34-degree tilt. That is an 89-degree tilt. That is the most tilted, the most severe tilt. So that sun, well, if we're tilted that far away, how come it's not winter, right? It's the most severe tilt. And then 6 months later, December 21st, solar noon, not even sunrise, when the sun is at its highest point in the sky, those rays are much more direct than it is at sunrise in the summer. You look up at the sun, you can't even feel the heat on your face. You look and it's just like, it's bright, but there's no warmth to it. And it gets worse, because in the heliocentric system, this one's going to make your brain melt. In the north, we are 3 million miles closer to the sun than we are in the summer. In the summer, right? In the north, in the winter, we are 3 million miles closer to the sun. So at solar noon in the winter, just reviewing, we're 3 million miles closer. We have sun rays coming down at, let's say, a 50-degree angle on us. In the summer, when we're at sunrise, the most severe angle, 3 million miles farther from the sun, we could feel the heat. Makes absolutely no sense. So how does that happen on the flat Earth? So I'm going to share my screen, and where is it? Here it is. Can you make that nice and big on the screen?
Yes.
I think it pushes us off to the side. Oh, that's me.
Add the other one, Bryce.
Yeah.
We have to add.
God, you guys don't know anything, man.
Gosh, we're just the worst. Okay. I see. I had you in full screen. Sorry about that. Okay.
All right. So the sky is a perfect clock. We're looking down on the flat Earth, and you put the numbers 1 through.
Be on the Hunger Games. All right. Now I
was just going to say this is a Hunger Games.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Hunger Games is basically it's showing us what's coming, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're literally moving right into the Hunger Games. So the sky is a perfect clock. Let me show you. I'm going to change it to 24 hours. Okay. So now you put 1 through 24 around. It's a 24-hour clock. They've given us clocks, but they said, hey, let's make those clocks go around twice a day, so they never figure out that it's the sky clock, right? And then they'll never figure out that we live in this perfect timepiece. So the sun goes around.
We're seeing here really quickly. Sorry, the dial. We're looking at the essentially the hour hand is the sun.
The hour hand is the sun. It goes around once every 24 hours, just like the sun goes around once every 24 hours. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. It's noon. And so the question you're going to ask next is, well, how come it's not light all over? It's because of atmosphere and because the sun is small and close. Like if you were in a big gymnasium with the lights out and you're on one side of the room and you light a candle, 6 inches above the floor, it's just going to light up a little section of that floor. The other side of the room is not going to be lit at all by that candle. Now you add some atmosphere in there, and you're not even going to be able to see the candle from the other side of the room. And I could show you how all that works. But let's stick with the sky clock. The sun marks the hours and the days. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. Every time it goes around, it marks the day. I'm going to speed it up. The sun will lap the moon once every 28 or 29 days. So the position and phase of the moon keeps track of the weeks and the moons. Right? There used to be 13 moons, but now there's only 12 moons, right? And they change it to months, right? That's also to throw us off. Also, daylight savings time is to throw off our body clocks, and it really does a number on us with the daylight savings. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, it's catching up to the sun. So I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to turn on the stars. The stars are on another wheel in the sky that keeps on turning, and as you can see, the sun is just moved into Pisces. The zodiac stars are spinning just slightly faster than the sun, so ever slightly that it takes a full year for the zodiac to lap the sun. So right now, Pisces is catching up to the sun. And next month, I think, is that Taurus that comes up after it. Whatever the next constellation is, it'll catch up to the sun, and the sun will be in that for a month. And this is how the sun stays in each constellation for about a month. It's just because they're spinning in the sky.
What you were saying earlier is just that astrology is essentially like the real. You're saying that astrology is the real science, and astronomy is kind of the BS, unprovable crap.
Pseudoscience. I took 4 years of astronomy in college. It was good to me. I was the man. Girls used to come to my room to help. I'd help them because I was so good at it. Right? It was amazing. And then I realized it's all pseudoscience, nonsense. Yes. It's unbelievable. Because we don't live on a math equation. We can make up all sorts of stuff. Like everything that science has starts off with an assumption. So, if you have one assumed number in an equation, the entire equation's nonsense. It has no value. So now we're going to talk about the seasons. So the outer yellow line, the one that goes over Australia and Southern Africa and the middle of South America, that is the Tropic of Capricorn. You've heard of the Tropic of Capricorn, but you never knew what it really was. The middle red line, which is halfway between the center and the outside, that's the equator. Okay. That line, if you measured it, is about 24,901 miles around, just like they tell us. So yes, the equator is that big. And then the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer, right? So on June 21st, I'm going to use a little jumping guy. I'm going to move to May, June. So in June 21st, the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. And that comes close to the inner northern world. So as you see, it's coming up on California. So Southern California is really hot in June because the sun is directly over your head. Just like an airplane at 10,000 feet over your head and another one's paralleling it 50 miles to the south. Same height, 50 miles to the south. Well, the one over your head is your summer sun, and the one out south is your winter sun. It's lower in the sky. It's farther away. Okay. So the inner north is having its summer. And because the sun never gets too far from places like Alaska in the very middle at this time of the year, the sun never sets because it never gets far enough away. Even at its farthest point, which is over when it's over Africa, it's still close enough to the inner north, Norway and Alaska, that the sun never sets. So now I'm going to jump forward 6 months to December, and the sun is out over the Tropic of Capricorn, and you can see it goes right over Australia. They're having the heat of their summer. They're looking up at that airplane that's over their head, and it's high in the sky. For us, it's far away. It's far away. It's low in the sky. Okay. So that's how seasons work. Okay. And it just has to do with the position of the sun on its track in and out between the tropics. It works perfectly.
Yeah, and Dave, we definitely we have to get to a couple other things for our show, but I want to make sure we just want to get to it. We definitely would like to hear more about this. I'm very interested.
Yeah, a part
real quick.
Go ahead.
I can wrap this up in 40 seconds. On the bottom left.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
On the bottom left is the featured video of the day. What I tell people is, if you think Flat Earth is stupid or you want to learn more about Flat Earth, get this. Every day there's a new video, short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. Watch them every day for 2 weeks. If you still think you have one proof that the Earth is a globe after that, send it to me and I'll give you a free Bitcoin if you're right. But before you do it, you have to hit the question mark, and up come all the questions that you're going to ask. Why the lie? How do seasons work, which we just talked? What about ships over the horizon? What about southern flights? So what about eclipses? If I hit what about eclipses, up comes a playlist that Google won't serve you of videos that explain what eclipses aren't and what they are. Wow. And how we've been lied to for so long. So there's so much information in this app. There's all sorts of other images. Bottom right, mud floods, Tartaria. Bring food and water if you click that button because you're not coming out for a long time. It does a whole bunch of things. Compass, how the north is in the center, south is every direction away from the center, and east and west are circles around the center. East and west are not straight lines. They're circles, provably. Yeah. So it goes on and on. We can get into it more next time.
Before we get to our special segment, I did want to ask you what do you think that technology and or social media even has kind of amplified this? Because it feels like more, this community, this flat Earth society, there is a flat Earth society that people that are
government controlled disinformation site.
Yeah. So
flat Earth society.
But yes, and they keep, there's more and more members each year. Do you think that's what do you attribute that to?
The Flat Earth Society is a government-controlled disinformation site. Obama plugged it a half a dozen times in his speeches, and he's like, "We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society," because he wants people to go there. If you search Flat Earth on Google, you will end up at Flat Earth Society nonsense. If you search images of Flat Earth from space, Flat Earth Society will show you pancakes and turnips floating in space. None of that is true. Right? They'll tell you that the Earth is rising up 9.8 meters per second, and that creates gravity. Nobody believes that. It's all nonsense there.
And you do have a community of people that believe this, and you go to events and stuff, and
go to a conference on the 27th of March in South Carolina. Anybody that wants to go, it's called Flat Earth. It's called flatearthfestivals.com.
Do you feel like these people have gotten, do you feel like this has come into the limelight more in the recent years, or?
It's unbelievable. There's tens of millions of us. There's like 10 million in Brazil alone. It is growing so fast that the elite are absolutely freaking out, because this is the one thing that will take down the elite. When people wake up to flat Earth, they unplug from the matrix. They unplug from the mind matrix of the globe prison. Right. And we discover who we are, where we are, what we are, and the powers of our mind. Just like Neo in the Matrix at the end of the movie, he figured out who he is and he took back his power.
Yeah.
I have a question actually then. So let's say a year from now, the fact that the Earth is flat becomes like common knowledge. Like that's what people believe. Let's just say that.
It's not about belief. It's about knowing, but go ahead.
Okay. Let's say that becomes what people know. Aside from validation for you, and for everyone else that has been saying this for a long time, what changes day to day?
Yeah.
Like how would our life change?
This is going to be really hard for you to grasp, but all governments would fall, all religions would fall, all universities would close, and that's just the beginning. Okay. People would all space agencies would close. It would be a very rough period as people, realized how much nonsense is in this world. The CIA director said, we'll know our disinformation campaign is complete when every single thing Americans believe is false. Well, we're there. Everyone believes all this nonsense going on. People say, Dave, what do you think that's real? Well, I don't know. I used to think Sully landed on the friggin' Hudson River, but that's fake also.
Oh my God. Don't you make fun of Sully.
Well, that's because you watched the movie with Tom Hanks. He's also the guy that went to the moon. Okay. It's yeah.
I get you. Okay, we do have to move on. Oh, go ahead, Annie.
Sorry. Last question. Do you ever get exhausted? Okay, because first and foremost, let me say I do agree with you that I think conspiracy theory and theorists is a weaponized term. I do agree with you because I do believe that there are things that we don't know and that we're not told. However, how exhausting is it for you to constantly question everything going on around you?
Well, I'm questioning. It's exhausting because I'm doing 25 interviews a week. You have no idea. And I do them all standing. If you didn't notice, I'm standing because I can't sit for that long.
Yeah.
I'd be dead. So, but you know what? I love it. I love my life. I had the American dream. I worked in corporate America. I left corporate America, started my own competing company, and we were crushing. Unbelievable. I was making more money than I ever thought I could make. Life is good. I'm my own boss, right? Amazing. And I walked away from it all because I had this calling. Something said to me, walk away, right? I made this app. This is my app.
Your app. Because
it's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It costs $2.99. Oh my God, he's in it for the money.
One, right? Don't buy another one.
There's a free one made by the Flat Earth Society type people trying to gatekeep your mind on Android. Feel free to get it. Just don't send me an email telling me my app sucks because it's not my app. It's by Blue Water Bay. You have to have an Android 8.0 operating system or better and an iPhone 6 or better. And it's a lot of fun. And just, if you don't believe it, I don't pay for apps. Okay, I get it. You don't have to get it. You can just go listen to my podcast, the Flat Earth Podcast. You can go to my YouTube page, DITRH. But just read the reviews. Go to it. Read the reviews. And people say, I'd pay $50 for this app. This is the greatest app ever. All right. It's just read the reviews. That's all I got to say. I can't fake the reviews.
Okay, Dave, we got a few more questions, but we need to kind of be rapid fire because I know you got. So first of all, we have our special segment it's now time for the mom question. Annie and I really love moms, and for these somebody sessions, we thought it would be fun for one of them to submit a question to ask our somebody. You're our somebody. If you hope you knew that. Today's mom question comes from Annie's mom, Lori. So take it away, Annie.
Yes. So my mom did a deep dive into common conspiracy theories because she just wanted to find something interesting to ask you. And one of them that she found was that there is a giant and active supervolcano under Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. And if it erupts, it could wipe out the entire US. Conspiracists believe that the government knows when this eruption will happen. Do you believe this? Can you debunk it?
Complete and total poppycock. There's no such thing as super volcanoes. Volcanoes, mountains of lava coming out of cone-shaped mountains, doesn't exist. Look into it. It's never happened. Now, there is lava, and it goes through lava tubes. There's a lot of, I'm not the guy to explain volcanoes, but these lava tubes are underneath the earth, and they create these tunnels. They're kind of like the veins of the earth, if you will. You know, the earth is like a living system. Don't ask me how it works. I don't know. The deepest hole ever dug is 7.5 miles. They couldn't get through. There's an impenetrable barrier there. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
What about Bigfoot?
Bigfoot? Now, Bigfoot is, I haven't seen anything myself, but I have friends that live in the woods that have seen some crazy stuff. It makes perfect sense to me. If my arm 6 feet long is the light spectrum that we see, that there is, we see like 1/4 of an inch of that light spectrum. What if there's other beings here that vibrate just outside of that spectrum? We wouldn't be able to see them. So maybe Bigfoot has been elusive because they're able to go into that vibration and we just don't see them. There's tons of evidence of
my
Bigfoot.
Brother-in-law is a huge Bigfoot enthusiast. And so he's actually going to be thrilled at that answer.
Yeah. There's a channel, Karen B, Flat Earth, Karen B, and she did a piece on Bigfoot. She's the one that lives in the woods, and it's pretty amazing.
All right. We're going to have to go watch that. Okay. Real quickly, to end our somebody sessions, we like to ask everyone the same 3 questions. So are you ready, Dave? They're rapid fire. So just go fast. A lot of
pressure.
Don't worry. They're very easy. Annie, go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so the first one is, what is your favorite hard seltzer, like a White Claw or alcoholic beverage, if you drink?
You know what? I'm not a huge drinker, but I have been enjoying in the summer the mango white seltzers, the White Claw mango. Maybe that was it. Yeah, they're pretty damn good.
Somebody just said that, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. The second question is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Don't believe. No. Belief is the enemy of knowing. So don't, we're trusting beings. I like believe. Someone tells me something. All right, I believe you, but I'm going to verify it if it's important. Like if you told me that, you two were married, I'd be like, okay, but it's not important to me to figure out if you're married or not, or if you're brother and sister. I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
No, that's good. I like that. The last one is, what do you believe that you're an expert of? It can or doesn't have to be flat Earth.
I think I'm an expert of, I'm compared to other people at least, of using my mind to create my reality. Using my mind to manifest what I want in my life. Everything you have in your life is from the way that you think. Okay. Everything, every problem you have, every situation is brought into you by your thoughts are like magnetic. We live in this magical world where our thoughts create our reality. Like when you're in a perfect flow state and you're thinking of something and you're in flow with it, boom, it shows up in your life instantly. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. That's because I'm getting better and better at that. I mean, life is, is good. I manifested myself being the CEO of my own company, which I was like, how the heck could that ever happen? But I wanted to see if it worked, and it worked. And then now I was like, now I'm going to walk away from that. I'm like, whoa, I walked away from it. Now I work from home. I make my own schedule. I'm having great conversations with people like you. So
also, we never even got into that. We'll have to do that next time, because I really wanted to know how you got into everything, and I know we don't have time for it, so I don't even want you to start. But I really did want to learn that. But anyway, we'll wrap up now. I know you've got another show to do. So that's our show, guys. Thank you so much, Flat Earth Dave, for speaking with us. You can and should follow him on Instagram at the Flat Earth Podcast, and listen to his podcast on all streaming platforms. For more information on Flat Earth research, you can visit his website at flatearthpodcast.com. Dave, is there anything else that
it's the Flat Earth Podcast. The Instagram, the website, and the podcast is the Flat Earth Podcast.
And then plug your YouTube channel one more time, too.
The YouTube channel is just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH. Okay. And I have lots of short 5 minutes videos there. Most of the videos are 5 minutes or less. There's a few longer ones, but if you start watching those videos, you're finished. You're done.
Well, I will say this, I walked into this thinking like total skeptic. I was like, this guy is not going to even like spark my interest in any of this. And I am going to go watch the videos, because this is fascinating to me. So I will do that. Thank you so much for being here and for doing this.
All right, I'm going to send you an email. You get an automated email with some links that you can put in the description. But I'm going to send you another email with a playlist of 7 videos. Okay. I guarantee you 1,000%, if you turn off your TV this week and just go through those 7 videos, some of them are 20 minutes, so some of them are a little longer, some of them might be shorter. There's no way you can come out the other side and believe in the helio-nonsensical system at all. It's over if you watch these videos. The question is, I'm offering you a red pill or a blue pill. Choice is yours.
Unplug, everybody. Let's get unplugged. All right. Well, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. This was great.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.